Imagine being completely isolated, surrounded by snow-capped mountains, where the silence is so thick that you can hear your own thoughts breaking apart. And little by little, those thoughts are no longer yours. That's the essence of The Shining. A psychological horror story with an atmosphere so oppressive that it grabs you by the neck and doesn't let go until your last breath. Get ready for a journey where evil doesn't hide in the shadows, it lives inside you. In this video, you'll discover why The Shining is not just a horror story, it's a dark mirror that reflects the most hidden corners of the human mind. And if you're ready to face it, press play and immerse yourself in this intense, claustrophobic and, above all too real experience. Jack Torrance wasn't a bad man. He was just someone trying to start over. A failed writer, struggling with alcoholism and the ghosts of a violent past that he insisted on hiding. When he took the job as a caretaker at the Overlook Hotel during the winter season, he believed he was doing the best for his family, Wendy, his sweet and resilient wife, and Danny, his 5-year-old son, a child too sensitive for this world. But the Overlook was no ordinary hotel. It had history. And history, there, never died. The hotel, empty of guests, was filled with presences. Presences that whispered, screamed, showed visions of blood and death. And Jack, already frail, began to listen. Danny, on the other hand, always listened. He had The Shining, a gift that few understand, and even fewer can bear. It was the ability to sense thoughts, see what others hide, and witness what has not yet happened. From the first day, Danny knew that the hotel was alive. He saw dead twins in the hallways, blood gushing from the elevators, and an old man in a suit whispering words he could not understand. The hotel's cook, Lauren, had the same spark, and he warned Danny, if something bad happens here, scream. Scream with your mind. And that was all he could do. Because when Jack started to change, there was no escape. The loving father became a stranger. A man with empty eyes, a sharp voice, and an axe in his hands. As the snow glowed off the outside world, the Overlook locked Jack's inner doors. He began to hear voices, to talk to people who didn't exist. He had drinks with a dead bartender, danced at parties from decades ago. And with each laugh in the empty ballroom, he lost another piece of himself. Until there was nothing left. When he realized what was happening too late. She tried to protect Danny. Jack was no longer Jack. He was part of the hotel. An executioner. A puppet of something bigger, darker. When she saw him climb the stairs with the axe, she knew that no one would ever get out of here alive unless they faced hell itself. Playing tricks on them. Doors that locked themselves. Mirrors that showed scenes that weren't there. Rooms that changed shape. Wendy fought for her life while Danny ran through the frozen corridors, trying to hide from his own father. And when Jack finally caught up with him, Danny did the unthinkable. He used his glow to silence himself. To disappear from his father's mind. To make the hotel believe he was no longer there. And that's how he survived. He took Jack to the ice maze, where the man was lost forever, or at least the hotel decided to bring him back. Wendy and Danny were saved by a Lauren, who returned to the hotel after hearing the boy's silent scream. But even far from the Overlook, something stayed with them. Because the hotel wasn't just a building. It was an idea. A presence. An entity that fed on human pain and madness. And once you know it, it never goes away. Danny's glow only grew, but with it came stronger visions. And the constant fear that one day he, too, would lose control. Because the evil that lives in the Overlook can live inside anyone. All it takes is being in the wrong place. Or thinking too much. Or feeling too much. The Shining is not just a horror story. It is a warning. A journey into the limits of the human mind, the weight of unresolved trauma, and the terror of discovering that the worst monster may be in the reflection. That is why this story continues to haunt generations. not for the scares, but for the truths it reveals. And if you, like Danny, have ever heard whispers where no one is, maybe you too have The Shining. But be careful, because the Overlook is always waiting, and it never closes its doors.